Welcome to Read This Next. We want to help you find your next favorite book with suggestions for titles on different topics. Our focus this month is fiction, with a list of titles in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The fantastic thing about novels is that whether you like historical fiction or books with a contemporary setting, you can find something for every mood. This month, we have a little of everything for you. Mysteries, romance, young adult titles, and historical fiction that will allow you to disappear into stories that span decades. Shall we begin? If you love historical fiction with a strong sense of place, try Molokai by Alan Brennan. In 1890s Hawaii, 7-year-old Rachel Kalama is diagnosed with leprosy and sent to live with the Catholic nuns on the island of Molokai. As she grows up, the world enters the 20th century. Hawaii undergoes sweeping changes, and science begins to unlock the answers that might free Rachel from her exile. If you love haunting stories that stay with you long after you've finished reading, try The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. 6 Japanese women arrive in San Francisco in the early 1900s and are overwhelmed by their new city and their new lives. They married their new husbands on the promise of letters and photographs, and soon realize they have to try to build meaningful lives within a reality very different from what they ever expected. If you love stories about the clash between tradition and modernity in turbulent times, try The Calligrapher's Daughter by Eugenia Kim. Because she was born into the aristocracy of Korea during the year of the Japanese annexation, Najin lives a very sheltered, traditional life. Her father, who refused to name her at her birth, arranges a marriage for her, but her mother wants her to have a different future and sends her to the Korean royal court instead. If you're looking for a quiet, character-driven story, try The Samurai's Garden by Gao Tsukiyama. In 1937, a young Chinese painter, recovering from tuberculosis, spends a year learning from Matsu, the gardener, at his family's summer home in Japan. Even as war between China and Japan comes closer and closer, he finds himself delaying his return home, drawn into the lives of Matsu and of his beloved Sachi. For an award-winning story of courage and friendship, try Run Me to Earth by Paul Yoon. In 1969 Laos, 3 orphan teenagers, Alisak, Prani, and Noi, have been friends since childhood. When they take shelter in a bombed-out field hospital, they meet Vang, an idealistic, often drunk, doctor who recruits them as motorcycle couriers. For a story inspired by true events, try Your House Will Pay by Steph Cha. 2 families, one Korean American and the other African American, collide with the secrets of the past as Los Angeles reacts to a police shooting of a black teen. Grace Park never knew that her mother, a Korean immigrant, had shot and killed Ava Matthews in 1991. The trial made headlines, and her mother hid her past after leaving prison. Now, her mother has been shot, and Sean Matthews, Ava's brother, is a suspect. If you love stories told from multiple perspectives, try Bamboo People by Mitali Perkins. Chico thinks he's applying for a job, but instead is forced into the military to fight against the Karen ethnic group along the Myanmar border with Thailand. He ends up wounded and at the mercy of Ture, who joined the Karenni resistance group after the military forces of Myanmar burned his home. If you like mysteries that are also a journey of self-discovery for the main character, try Ghost Month by Ed Lin. Jingnan had high hopes in high school. He and his girlfriend Julia were going off to college in the United States, where they would build a future far from Taiwan's traditionalism. But nothing went as planned, and now he runs a food stall in the night market in Taipei. When he learns that Julia has also returned to Taiwan and that she's been murdered, Jingnan feels compelled to find out why. For a story about the complexities of family secrets, try Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rabai. Jay Reguero spent years writing letters, real mail, to his cousin June in the Philippines, until he stopped. So when June is murdered, Jay's guilt sends him back to the Philippines to find out why, even though most of his relatives, who include a police chief and a priest, want him to leave the whole situation alone. If you love fun, romantic books with elements of magic, try Vanessa U's Magical Paris Tea Shop by Roselle Lim. Vanessa U's life should be ordinary, but it isn't. She's an accountant, but she also has an inherited talent for uncomfortable prophecies that wreck relationships and ruin weddings. Hoping to find a solution, she's going to Paris, where her Aunt Evelyn might be able to teach her to control her abilities. What could possibly go wrong in the most romantic city on earth? That's it. Those are our titles for today. We hope you enjoy these selections. All of today's titles are available digitally through the library's website. For more reading suggestions, call the Crystal Lake Public Library. Thank you so much for making us part of your day, and remember to keep reading.